Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of RevTalks. Today we are joined with Glenn, the founder at RBS. How's it going today, Glenn?
It's going really well. Off to a good start this week. I'm excited about having a 4-day week and celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country this weekend.
Absolutely. Well, happy 4th or happy early 4th, that is. Let's kind of hop into RBS, a little bit about who you guys are. I know you guys are in the hospitality space. You guys are software servicing them. Kind of talk briefly about that, how this kind of got its roots, and some background information for the audience.
Sure. In 2019, a friend of mine that owned a large guest ranch on the Colorado-Wyoming border asked me to get involved. I had just left a company that I sold to private equity called Firestream Worldwide, and the name of the company that bought us was PDI Technologies. PDI is a great company, and I had stayed with the business for 2.5 years after I sold my company to them, and then I started RBS in response to a need I saw in the hospitality market, again, prompted by this friend of mine that owns a guest ranch on the Colorado Wyoming border. And initially, we were focused just on hunting and fishing lodges and outfitters and dude ranches. And then in 2025, we expanded into hotels and restaurants.
Absolutely. And I assume kind of the hospitality space is a little bit better in terms of maybe not just necessarily margin, but actually like consistency with business and payroll, I'd assume, and actually working with like more functional businesses probably in that respect.
Yes, we tend to work with mature businesses versus startups, and but our customers are all sizes. I mean, we have some customers that have 3 or 4 employees, and we have some customers that have 10,000 employees. So it just depends. But yeah, our general customer profile tends to be pretty well established. I think is what you're getting at.
Absolutely. And the hospitality space, okay, so let's kind of dig into the actual solution you're providing. Is this more kind of on like the billing and management side of things to where you're helping them out with their, certain types of aspect of the business, save money? What's kind of like the leading value prop here? What specifically are you guys doing for the actual hospitality space?
Really good question. The mission of our company is to make our customers more profitable, and we have several products that do that. So we have a product called Yellowstone, which is focused on ranches and lodges and outfitters, primarily in North America, although we have some customers in New Zealand and Canada and Africa. And that product is essentially a property management system. I would say it lives in the tension of being a property management system and an ERP because it does a lot more than just manage reservations. But that's one of our solutions. Then we have another solution, which is a property management system focused on hotels. Generally, we're looking for hotel owners that have more than 300 rooms. That could be 300 rooms in one property, 300 rooms in 5 properties, 300 rooms in 2 properties. But we're looking for a certain size there. And again, it really lives in the tension of almost ERP because we do complete accounting, accounts receivable, accounts payable, general ledger, plus the reservations, housekeeping management, food and beverage, banqueting, and provide the ability to take in all reservations, whether it's from a property's website or a company's website or central reservation system, or from the online travel agencies like Expedia and Booking.com. That's kind of our second solution that lives in the hotel space. Our third solution, and of course, under there, we've got some add ons like pre arrival technology and revenue management and some other add ons. Our third solution is a point of sale. Most of our point of sale customers are restaurants, but we can serve any kind of retail, and we also serve schools. So we've got quite a few schools that use our point of sale to manage their lunch operation. So if you think back to your childhood, your parents may have put money in an account for you to buy lunch at school. So we support that as well as ringing out whatever it is that you buy for lunch every day. So those are our three big areas: property management for ranches, lodges, and outfitters, property management for hotels, and then point of sale for retail, food and beverage.
Okay. And for property management for hospitality, I assume that's the kind of customer profile you'd want to consistently kind of get in front of too. It seems like it's kind of top tier in terms of who you guys actually service. Why exactly? I mean, how is that transition process from? I mean, you're taking a lot of data with a specific company that's been around for a while. You guys work with established hospitality companies, and it's kind of a fact of the matter of like it's a lot of data. It's obviously a lot of trust. It's kind of like a whole entire like end to end solution here. What specifically do you guys kind of tell the actual customer before they sign as to like you can actually trust us? This will be a lot easier as opposed to maybe other platforms out there on the marketplace.
Well, there's a lot packed into your question there. First of all, we're an ISO 27001 certified company. So the big products that we sell have been certified by an ISO 27001 standards audit. And we have to go through that every year. So I think, we don't lead with trust because I think most of the customers in our market assume that you have to be trustworthy. And of course, we expect them to do some due diligence and make sure that we have a good reputation. Our software is running operations in about 4,800 locations. And so we don't struggle to find a reference if a new customer is coming on board with five new hotels and they want, some reassurance about our functionality, about our ability to serve them, about our service levels, about our integrity as a business. We're happy to connect them with a reference for them to talk to. Does that answer your question, Patrick?
Definitely. So you guys have different kind of points of contact throughout the entire sales process period that ensures, not necessarily just that the level of trust is there, but that everything else kind of makes sense with data and how you guys provide the solution.
I think that's true. So if you're talking about different points of contact, I think there's different points of contact on our team. The relationship generally starts with someone that, we would generally call a salesperson or a regional sales manager. We have some different titles for it depending on what part of the world we're in. But so it starts with a salesperson. Generally, there's a sales engineer that gets brought in, someone that has deeper technical knowledge once we've done some discovery around the customer's business and we understand it well. And then depending on where it goes after those conversations, sometimes we'll, before the completion of the sale, bring in some of the people from our implementation team. So project management, training, solutions, configuration person. So those are some of the roles that we have involved on our side, the multiple points of contact. From a customer perspective, it really ranges, depending on the size of business that we're dealing with. Sometimes we're dealing with an owner that wears many hats and, they're the one that does the entire evaluation of our solution. Other times it starts with someone that has a pain point in the organization and that person searches out, potential companies that can satisfy their need. And so that could be someone in marketing or sales or banqueting or accounting, or it could be the owner or GM of a property. But generally, the larger the business, the more people that get involved. So we're of course doing our best to make sure that we're having as many conversations as we can to get the needs of the businesses that we are starting to work with out on the table. As you might imagine, a housekeeping manager might have a completely different set of needs than the controller or CFO or head of sales or head of marketing. So eventually, the larger the businesses are, all of the departments get involved and are, a big part of making sure that we've done all the discovery we need before we put a proposal.
Absolutely. And I know you kind of did mention too briefly before RevTalks that you guys are looking at sort of taking on more projects kind of in the hospitality space. Can you kind of talk briefly about that? If you guys have a specific goal you're kind of looking to get in front of over the next couple of quarters, or if you guys are just looking to kind of ramp up outreach or outbound and book meetings, what does that kind of look like on, the acquisition side for you guys?
Sure. Generally, we're looking to grow the business across all of our products and services. So, of course, we have our SaaS offerings. We also have managed services. So, we have customers that would either have a new need or a current process that they would. I think, generally the term outsourcing is something that's pretty universal. So if you wanted to outsource revenue management to us or outsource your distribution to us, that's something that our team can take on and provide on a fee for service basis on an ongoing basis. Before we started the podcast, we also talked about the fact that we do some development projects, meaning a business has a need for a piece of software to get developed. In our main focus is to sell our subscription software, but depending on the customer, we are also willing to take on something that looks like a custom dev project. And we've done all kinds of projects for people, but we like to stay focused on the hospitality space. So we don't want just any custom dev project, something around a loyalty program or online booking or revenue management or putting in place a data warehouse or some sort of accounting flow, something like that related to hospitality or the kinds of projects we're looking for. We do fewer of those. I mean, we look to do maybe 3 or 4 big development projects a year. Our bread and butter is selling subscriptions. But I think, in the world of AI and being able to, move through a development process a lot faster, we have some capacity to take on extra projects.
Definitely. And I think the very interesting part too, kind of about the entire business of how this can scale is obviously this can scale to exit. Obviously, this can be sold to, private equity like you did in one of the previous companies.
Hmm.
Can you kind of talk briefly about how you're kind of building this? Especially, you mentioned too, age of AI is obviously allowing everything to become exponentially faster, whether
Hmm.
it's templatized coding, workflows and automations are like level one out of like level 100, obviously.
Hmm.
There's so many different processes and things to actually implement within the business to streamline it, whether it's with AI or it's just simply because you want to exit down the line. What's kind of the play for RBS? Are you guys looking to strictly build and exit or keep it as kind of a cash flow subscription kind of model? What does it kind of look like for you?
I think again, it's a complex question. We have a group of shareholders. I'm the majority shareholder of the business, but I mean, I think the shareholders are primarily interested in scaling the business so that we can be a long-term player in the hospitality space. I don't think we are actively interested in any kind of exit right now. We're interested in scaling. Again, we cover about 4,800 properties right now. I think if you look around in this space, the sort of ideal size is probably around 35 or 40,000 properties to be profitable at scale. We're focused on running a good profitable business and returning capital to our shareholders. At some point in the future, we might consider an exit, but that's really not why we're building the business now. We're building the business to make our customers more profitable and to make sure that we're profitable ourselves.
Absolutely. Then where actually on the internet can we find you once again? What is the company website? And then what is your LinkedIn too for the audience?
The company website is rbsgo.com, and my LinkedIn profile, I believe, is LinkedIn and then the slash and J Glenn Turner. I'll check that real quick while we're Uh, LinkedIn.com /in/J Glenn Turner, and that's Glenn with 2 N's.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time today here on Rev Talks, Glenn. Hope you had a good episode with us and hope you have a great rest of your day as well.
Thanks, Patrick. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you.